What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely terrific. Hope you guys are ready to go. Almost to the end of the week. It's wild. I don't know. That's wild to me. I don't know. I get freaked out by how quickly everything goes, but it's all good. It's all good. I need to take a breather. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. We got Bill. We got Sydney. We got Corey D. Good morning to Fabrice, George, Greg K. Good morning. We got Jay Linder. Good morning. We got Joe, Kevin Stone, Lauren Marius in the house. We're gonna rock with Miguel, Peter, Wally, all my family in the house. Good morning to you guys. All my peeps out in YouTube land. Good morning. We got Daniel. We got Ivo. We got Honey Roy rocking with us in YouTube land. All my other lurkers sitting in the background. That's okay. I love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Pretty active after hours last night, I would say. Pretty active. For not really. I mean, we had some companies reporting too. That kind of helps. We also had some pre-market companies report this morning as well. So a lot of movement. A lot of movement. We also had some retail numbers. The market liked it at first. And then we kind of spilled off a little bit. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Nathan. But we have SPY gapping up. Okay. We said yesterday we were probably putting targets on the SPY. First real resistance 498.02, and then we'd have some kind of stretch target up at like 575, something like that. So we didn't quite hit the stretch, but we did want to remain bullish. We came back, we banged off that support perfectly, and we did get a close above that resistance. So 498.02. This is a retest at open, so I'd be curious to see how this thing wants to move, but I'm about 50-50 into my target and into probably my support of 498.02. So I think we have to wait for some kind of, at least on the SPY specifically, some kind of better opportunity. Some kind of a pullback would be great, knowing that there is some kind of resistance. We do have that little reversal doji above us as well. So let's see if we can pull back a little bit, retest. Where that retest comes into, not sure. I mean, the close of yesterday is 498.68, 498.57, but we got support slightly lower than that, somewhere around this 498. So the 498, worst case, is where I want to see hold. And I think taking a breather at open and just waiting for some kind of pullback would be tremendous. But now let's take a look real quick at the Qs. See if we get a different story on that one. Rock is in the house. What's up, Rock? The Qs, very similar. So not too much of a story different on the Qs. I thought this would be a little bit more bullish. I thought it would be a little more bullish today, but it is bullish. We are gapping up. Still a retest gap from yesterday, so I'd want to see some kind of a pullback. Knowing especially I got 435.55 is kind of my next target, my next resistance. If we breach that, we're back to 437.24. And then we have a bad CPI comes in hot, inflation's back, and market doesn't care anymore. We have one good panic day. That was about it. Otherwise, pull back into essentially the open, which is not too far away. So maybe we get a little sell off into like 432.85. Yesterday's close was 433.22. So generally in that zone, if we could hang out there, great. And then yesterday's VPOC is 431.44. So that's where I would draw the bottom line at. But I think we have a few levels of support where I kind of, if we're really going to be strong, I kind of don't even think we get to that 431.31 today. So we'll see if we want to pull back a little bit. The market, I'm looking at my other screen, starting to fade a little bit. So that's going to help us. And we have 24 minutes to the opening bell. So maybe if we continue to get a little bit more profit taking, that would be good for us, as we just get a little close to open, closer to some of those supports, and then we can take a trade a little bit quicker. TLT jumping. That looks like island reversal. Pretty strong reversal setup. Obviously, TLT will gap a lot. So if it was another stock, I would say I would put even more weight onto it. But that is an island reversal. Decent volume on the sell day. Okay volume on that buy day, but a little bit of even like 2-bar hammerish looking candle, more like doji with a longer wick if we were to combine those two. Otherwise, if this gap does not fill today, if we do not sell back and we close this gap today, watch that. That could be island reversal for TLT. We are back into support, which should be a decent resistance. So maybe not too much movement today, but I'd be watching to see if this gap closes or not. The next support, even if we do pull back, I'm looking for about 93.25. To the higher side, we got all sorts of resistance above us, 93.86. And then a much bigger one we got to get northbound of if we want to see TLT really start to lift out of here would be roughly about 94.28. So bunch of resistance above us, but watch to see if we fill that gap or that remains open and we start to look for some kind of bigger push on some of the bonds. Deere and Company. If you guys have tickers, make sure you guys throw those into the chat. We could definitely take a look at all those as well. Definitely gap down. This is on earnings that were a good beat, earnings per share by 18%. And then on the revenue side of things, we beat by 182 million. Interesting little sell-off on that one. My guess would be, and I did not hear the conference call on this one, but my guess would be that we probably got a weaker forecast. Otherwise, those numbers look pretty decent. I would treat this one as a little bit of a fade higher, believe it or not, from here. We're at one little level of support, decent retest spot. I don't know if I would go long right at the open. I'd see if we get a little bit more of a pullback, maybe kind of come into this 369.04, or better yet, if we could get there. Not sure if we do, but 366.66. Although that's a lot of sixes in that one, so that kind of makes me a little worried. So let's go a little higher than that one. But somewhere in those two zones, see if we can get a little further selling. Otherwise, we are at a decent little support. Deere, I think if we get some kind of a high wave candle, it might be worth the shot to try to take this one to fade higher. So we'll see how this one wants to open at the morning bell on the 3-minute candle. But if we get a little high wave down here, especially if that bottom of the high wave is bouncing off 369.04, the reason I want to play this one a little bit more like a fade is mainly because this big red candle here, as opposed to that green candle, this is still inside day. So there is already, we've sold a decent amount running into that candle. Even though that's a green candle, it's got some bullish momentum in it. Tiny little wick on it. I think I'd want to play that more fade, let some of those people take profits, and then we join them on the long side of things as they buy to close. But it looks interesting. Cindy also wants to take a look at Crocs, and I see a few more other people want to look at Crocs. Everybody loves Crocs. I mean, they've really figured out how to maximize the profits in the shoe company world. If you just don't make a shoe with all the material and you just leave some holes in it, do you know how much money that probably saves them? Probably saves them a lot. But they did beat on earnings per share. This one just came out, I believe, before the bell. Yep. So this just came out. But they did beat by 20 cents earnings per share. Revenue side of things, they're up 1.7 million above expectations. Really good gap. We're starting to get to a little bit of a resistance zone on this one to the higher side, the higher price on this. I'd be looking for about 118.70. To me, every time I look at Crocs, it just goes up. I can't imagine. I would expect that they have a good short float, but I can't imagine they do because they still got 8.7%. Fairly big gap. I'd have to put this one higher on the list too. I would like to see a little bit. I don't want to short this one today, especially with that short float. We did get bought up into these numbers. Yesterday is so from yesterday's candle, this is a gap and go. But again, I'm kind of just playing inside this zone. I'd want to see if this one pulls back a little bit first. I think my stretch target on this one is somewhere around 118. So that would give me about $4 to the higher side of things. But even to that, I mean, we could get stalled at 116. It still gives us about $2.55. It has some room to the higher side for sure. But if we could get back down into probably closer to this 111, I don't maybe I'm asking for too much. I don't know. But if we can get to that 111 zone, now we have a much better upside trade to it. I wouldn't even honestly mind if we don't get a bounce today at all. If we just sell off and then we close a big retest candle, big red, and then tomorrow we play bullish. But we'll have to see. I think it's bullish. It's obviously bullish. But if I could get a better setup on it, I would like it a lot more. So we'll see. We'll watch it. I definitely don't want to go short it. So if I can find a spot to go long that looks decent, I don't mind taking that shot. Yeti, YETI. YouTube land is blowing up with tickers. You guys want to look at Bitcoin going crazy. We got Yeti, so Yeti with a gap down. You mean the $1,000 Yeti coolers aren't selling no more? With inflation, it's probably $1,400. We got Yeti surprise downside missed 6.52% for earnings per share. We missed by $16 million. Not a great support. Definitely clearing a good pivot. For that reason, I probably want to lean short, but I'm kind of scared of the short because we are at a little bit of support. The one spot I would look at, if we could blow through this zone right here, my target to the lower side would be about $40.71. So if you like it short and you think you get through some of this congestion where there's a lot of volume areas, probably look for that $40.70, $40.71, somewhere in that zone. So that would still give you $1.07, something like that to the downside. I'd much prefer we come back up on this one into probably closer to 42.51 as a shot to short, and then I would throw some kind of stop at like 42.99. But that is definitely a good pivot we're breaking. We've even started to have a bunch of bullish volume days. Nice volume on this day. Obviously, good volume yesterday. Definitely trapping some of the bears. I would like to go short because I'm a little scared of some of those targets. Let's see if we get a bounce on Yeti. I'll throw that one a little bit higher on the list as well. I'm getting a bunch of names I haven't had at the top of my list in a while up here. But definitely looks good for the short side of things. Now we just got to find the right setup for it. Bill wants to take a look at Coin and Roku. DraftKings. DraftKings got earnings tonight, but Penn did come out with earnings today. So I think they were pretty much a miss this morning. We got Coinbase. I don't know. I don't know. It's up $8. It could go more. We've obviously been bullish on this thing. We're starting to get into a little bit of resistance. My question really is how much further will it go? I think we start to stall out somewhere around 175. So if we're bullish on this thing, that gives me about $7 to the higher side. I'm looking for support though. I don't know if we close this gap today. I'd probably be looking for some kind of support around 164.64. If we do break that, we've got now a very, very strong support at 160. I don't think we get back there today. Crypto is too strong. I think crypto is too strong today to get a full-on retest. But I think if we get into this zone of maybe like 164.95, again, that does give us good room to the higher side of things. But yeah, it's bullish for sure. Nice gap on it. It is a retest gap. I think it's a strong retest gap. Again, do I want to fade this gap? That's a whole nother question. I think we could stall out somewhere around this 164.95. And if that's my case, I think that's not going to give me too much room for good risk reward. So I'd probably have to wait for this thing to fade and then look to see what happens at least at 164.95. And then if we start to break down, I'm definitely looking for this 160 zone. So uh yeah, I don't want to jump in on the excitement on that one, but it is a good gap. Obviously, continuation bullish, but now we're starting to get a lot of people profitable in this thing. Roku ROKU. Just kind of hanging out for now. Yep, nothing too crazy. The one nice thing on this one though, if I mean there's no gap, nothing really I could really go, okay, these people are trapped. You do have a gap and go here, bearish, right? We broke down that green candle. We found ourselves at a little bit of support. We tried to breach it twice. Even both of those are just kind of retesting to that previous VPOC down there. So that's been retested. I do have targets on this one in a bullish direction to probably come back to this 94.43. So we have about $3 roughly, just under $3 to the higher side on this thing. But that would be my target for the day. I think we still probably stay within this candle unless the market wants to do something crazy. But I think this is a good gap and go to the bear side. We're gonna have some moving averages. Might be a little chop zone. I do think we probably come up to this 94.43 at some point. But watch this level down here. This would be your support 89.87. If that starts to break, this thing could start to get a little bit more ugly. I think Walmart bought out Vizio yesterday during the day. It got halted for a little bit. I think maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes, something like that. But Vizio got halted, and that could be a bearish catalyst for Roku because I think people were saying Walmart was going to be buying Roku, or at least that was the Wall Street rumors for a long time that Walmart will actually buy out Roku at some point. And they bought out Vizio. So that is a negative sentiment coming into today for Roku. But we are just kind of inside Chop City. I think with those hammers down there, and we are bouncing off some kind of decent support. I'd want to stay more bullish than bearish on this thing. But not a huge advantage on the trade one way or another. Let's see, let's take a look at Tesla, then we get to Walmart, Microsoft, PayPal. Tesla, Elon Musk buying the dip. Elon Musk is a dip buyer. After the bell, reports come out that he is buying more shares or has bought more shares. He's now 20% owner of Tesla. Obviously, that's positive news when the CEO, who knows the behind the scenes things, goes, this looks cheap for me. I like this company. So that's going to put a little bit of motivation into everything Tesla. I still think we probably get some profit taking on this one at open. I see a little bit of resistance, 190.74. So even if we get bid up, watch that spot, 190.74. I think that's where shorts probably, maybe not shorts, but at least some profit taking comes in. We're still in the sideways chop, but that is some positivity from Tesla. Let's see if this thing wants to fade down first, give us some kind of level. When the CEO wants to buy some shares, I'm only going to go with him. So I'm not going to short Tesla today. I will go long probably if I see a good sit up on it, but preferably if it comes down a little bit into maybe 188.54. Maybe this thing even stalls out somewhere around 189.34, but come down a little bit more, take a little bit of profit, and then we could jump in and join Elon for the other 20% of the company. We'll see what happens. We got Microsoft, MSFT. Small little gap up, nothing too crazy on it. I got one level of resistance up here. This is 411.16. Keep in mind, I am kind of waiting for the entire market to drop a little bit, at least pull back. I think we do pull back a little bit at the beginning of the day. It already kind of looks like pre-market was starting to. And then I would be looking to continue to go bullish probably a little bit later. But I got a resistance somewhere around 411.16. That's not going to give me a huge risk to reward if we stop there. The next resistance on this one, 412.97. The one up from that is 413. So pretty decent level here as well. Stretch goal if everything goes absolutely crazy, which NVIDIA came out with their reports as to what they own, and it was everything. It was ARM. They even had RXRX in there. They had a bunch of other companies that they work with. So they own a lot of companies. Those things were going absolutely crazy after hours for a while. Obviously, Microsoft's not one of them, but everything kind of this obviously Microsoft is an AI play. It is a tech play. So I'd still be bullish on this thing, but I'd have to watch out for some of those resistance to the higher side of it. Let's take a look. Walmart getting off of the getting off that AI train, and again they did put out they're buying Vizio. See if the deal gets approved. I don't see why I wouldn't. But strong resistance on this. This is a gap and go, kind of. So we had a gap down yesterday. The Bears tried to take this thing down lower. We got a lower VPOC on this thing. And even though there's a red candle, technically this is all just a big retest candle into here. And we did stay inside of this range. So I don't know. I don't know what happens here. I think that resistance might be good. Obviously, we've got a pretty big resistance zone above us. Maybe an opportunity to come in short longer term if you don't like Walmart. They got that split coming up, so be careful of that. And they also have earnings coming out before that. So they're going to have earnings into a split. Things could get a little wild for Walmart going forward. And with those two big things, we probably just chop around for a little bit. Otherwise, I could see some shorts wanting to hop in at that resistance. And again, it is a gap and go. We might be trapping some people. I don't even think many on this one because there's still a lot of bulls in that day. So probably can't do too much on Walmart for me today, at least. PayPal. PayPal, the world's best company, according to nobody but myself. Can't even take the lines off of it. I can't even take that bullish entry line off of my chart. That's how bullish DJ is. We got a lot of room today. PayPal's one to watch. This gives us about $1 on a $60 stock, $59 stock. Same concept though. I don't want to be the first one to buy this thing at open. I would like to see some kind of a pullback into 58.80. But this could be a decent, nice little S curve. We get a pullback first. I don't see really any resistance in the way up until probably $6.12. So PayPal will go. It's already high on my list. But yeah, let's see if we get a little profit taken at open, especially if it comes into like this 58.81. See what happens there. Much stronger support. I don't think we get down here today. We might. I don't think so. 58.29 would be the next secondary target. And even at that spot, I'm a little more nervous because now we're breaking down yesterday's opening price. But if we could get a good pullback, 58, we'll even call it 58.80, somewhere there, then we get pretty good room, $1.20 to the higher side. So we'll see what happens on this one. We got Cisco. Man, there's a lot out there today. Cisco. We got 5 minutes left. And I didn't even make it anywhere close to the list today. You guys came in with fire. This is a strong gap and go on Cisco. I think I thought they were. Oh, did they have softer guidance? Maybe they had softer guidance. TradingView says they beat earnings per share by 3 cents. They say they also beat by 84 million. Major support. We do have a lot of room on the higher side on Cisco. And the one challenge with this one is it is a pretty decent gap and go from yesterday into today. That support, I think, is very strong. So I wouldn't mind playing the fade, especially we did start to sell a little bit into it. So the longer term, we've been getting some shorts coming in, and just one day we're kind of taking out. I wouldn't mind playing that one for a strong fade on that. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see. We got Tesla already. NNOX for a short squeeze. NNOX. Oh man, we're open. I couldn't even find where the opening price was. I was like, Marco Polo. Yeah, you probably get some casino. I mean, again, this is gonna work all differently than everything I say right now. But I'm sure the short squeeze is massive on this thing. Definitely trapping a major amount of people. You have resistance above you. How good those resistance are going to be, I don't know. I mean, 15.25, I guess. And then probably look for $18, 18.50. This will be a fun one to watch if you want to play. Tremendous. That's still about a 50% return from here if that holds. You got major support now at about $10.85. But yeah, you could definitely major squeeze that one. Bernard wants to take a look at DWAC. Then I see First Solar as well. What I got? 240 left. Ay, ay, ay. Ooh, that one looks decent. Was there some Trump news? I'm gonna have to throw this one up higher on the list as well. Again, see if we get a tiny little pullback. That looks like a great gap though. And DWAC can do some interesting wild things, but see if we get 52.35, a little bit of a pullback would be great. We do have a wick up here, 58.96, so we stalled there once. Maybe we do it again. I think that's a wick we could probably break out of. Even longer term, we're starting to break through some key volume areas. Really, the next spot on DWAC, well, the next real spot is probably about 58.66. If the bulls could break through that, we're looking for about $70 on this. No fundamentals playing to DWAC. Keep that in mind. It is just all momentum and just people buying shares because politics. No shares bought by Elon, as far as I understand. The difference from 12 to 20% represent the unexercised options they paid. It might have to do with options. I'm not 100% sure. The report that I saw was that he was actually buying. So, but it could be a result of some option plays. And Tesla did jump up a little bit higher. Netflix looks interesting too. Again, this would be a retest gap. See if this one fades first, but everything all bullish on Netflix looks decent for today as well. We'll throw that up there. Shake Shack did report. I believe they were up 16% before I even hopped on this mic. Not even sure where we're at now. 91.60. That's an impressive move on Shake Shack. It is a wide gap. We do have some resistance above us. It's going to be I don't know what their short float is on Shake Shack, but you are into a little bit of resistance. Maybe we can squeeze out of here and push higher. Again, lots of room on that fade to the downside if you want to try to play it into this resistance. I get it if you do. We'll throw this one a little bit higher, but major gap just into a decent little resistance. And again, the earnings just came out, so there's an opportunity for people to be like, what the heck is going on with Shake Shack? All I wanted was a smoothie. Instead, I got a whole grande deluxe meal here, so I might take my profits and go home. That's it. All right, did I cover all of them? I got SoFi. I got 10 seconds left. SoFi. Woo, woo. That looks like a decent break. See if we get a mini pullback into probably roughly $8.41. If we could, that'd be tremendous. Otherwise, it does look like it's starting to try to break. Good resistance up here again, 858. So we will see. I still like it. Looks like it's decently bullish trending and trying to break out again. Next real big target, $9.61. ALB starting to go crazy at open. Everybody in YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. You guys are incredible as always. And we only got one day left of this week. We got some key numbers coming out tomorrow, so make your positions. PayPal's coming down kind of into that support zone. We'll see if we get a bounce.